Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and I am just taking a little peaceful moment to hang out with you to record this podcast episode. It's so interesting how everything has shifted since having a little baby, and also just like being in this moment and spending time with you is like such a huge highlight in that. And I know I'm just sitting here essentially talking to a wall. I don't even know who is listening to this on the other side. So if you're listening, send me a message so I know that there's someone there. But really, like, I always sit down and feel like we're two sisters hanging out, sipping some coffee in a coffee shop and just like relaxing, or hanging out on my couch and just like being in the moment. And if you've ever been to one of my retreats or events or anything, like, I try to bring that energy and that feeling into everything, because we're just a couple of best gal friends, like hanging out and doing life together and figuring things out, because I don't have it figured out. You don't have it figured out. There's a good chance if you're here. If you have it figured out, I don't think you're listening to this podcast. So welcome. Welcome to this journey of us figuring things out together. And I've been thinking about this a lot this week. So this week, we typically take, my husband and I, we take our vacation the first week of September pretty much like every year since we got married, because we got married on September 5th, and we've always just incorporated a trip or some time off together around that time. So this week was that week. We just celebrated 10 years married this week, which blows my mind that it's been 10 years, and our first wedding anniversary as like a family of 3, which I am still trying to process and figure things out. But through this week of just like having time, there's always that battle between getting things done. We have a long list of to-dos that we really wanted to do this week, and here we are coming close to the end of the week, and most of those to-dos are not done. But we did get a lot of really good quality family time together, and it's also trying to remember what's most important in this season. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, like overstimulation, overconsumption of things, and remembering who you are, the truth of who you are, and also the truth of what you want, right? Because I can get so caught up today, even as I was coming down, I knew I had just enough time to come down here to record this podcast episode, and the kitchen's a mess. And those chores that we said we wanted to do, they're not done. Like, we have a plant that has been needing to be hung for like weeks. We have a plant that also needs to be planted for weeks. And it's like these small little things that just start to add up, and they become the only things you see. Maybe you feel that too, where you like look at your house and you're just like, I can only see the mess. I can only see that peanut butter smudge on the table over there. I can only see that I got stains all over my shirt. I can only see the chaos. I can't see that I got to spend time with my family, or I can't see that, we had a really delicious meal together, and that's why there's a peanut butter smudge in the middle of the table. Like, we can't always see the positive to it. And I think that's just part of the world that we live in. The world we live in with this overconsumption of us always watching TV, right? Having TV on in the background, or always, having noise. If you have kids, like the toys that play noise, there's always noise on, and we're scrolling all the time. And this is not me attacking you. This is essentially me telling you what's going on in my life, right? And that's why we're in this together. And it's just been such an interesting process, especially since having a kid. As someone who loves their alone time, I'm an introvert. You might not believe it. Nobody ever believes me when I say that, but I need my time to recharge and to refuel in order for me to come and create this podcast, in order for me to do events. Like, I need alone time. And I just don't get a whole lot of it now that I have a baby, which is fine. Thankfully, from the human design world, he's a projector too. And if you don't know what that means, we both have a little bit more of a relaxed energy when we're together. So that makes a really big difference. Praise the Lord. I wanted a projector. and I got it. So maybe we should just stop while we're ahead and only have one. My husband, on the other hand, who is a manifesting generator, is like, another projector. They're so slow. Anyways, but it really is this world that we live in, that there's just so much going on all the time. Even think about it when you're out driving and you're either listening to the radio or even to like Spotify or something. There's ads, there's things that pop up. There's like always something to catch your attention, to distract you from the path that you're going on, to distract you from where you want to go. And I've just, I think, been noticing it more and more because I have such limited amounts of time. And we all do. We all have limited amount of time here, limited amount of time to get our work done, to get to our goals, to work on ourselves, to give us that self-care. And in this world of overstimulation and overconsumption, I can even see it more in people when they're just a little more nitpicky, like not even nitpicky, what's the word? Like snippety, like they can't take a breath. It's instantly like, And I've just this morning, knowing I have so much on my plate and things to do, I noticed it more too. And I wanted to just shift that today. Shift it with you. Maybe in real time, you and I are going to shift that energy today so that we can get out of this energy of just like, I have to do these things. There's too much on my plate. Everything sucks. To, hey, I have things I have to do, but I can also enjoy the moment. I can also find joy today. And I can even prioritize joy, because I don't know about you, when I shift things and I focus on those moments of happiness and those moments of joy, everything else feels a little less heavy. It actually feels really manageable when I take the time for me first. And I am not talking about hours and hours and hours. Maybe you would listen to some of my old podcast episodes and be like, oh, Jess, silly girl. She doesn't have any kids. She doesn't know what's up. She doesn't even have a full-time job. She is an entrepreneur. She can do what she wants. And I can even look back and be like, old Jess, what a gal. Now I'm really limited on that time. So I'm not talking about hours of self-care. I'm talking about 5 minutes, 15 minutes, doing something for you that is going to kickstart your energy to feel better about tackling all of the dishes in the kitchen. Okay. And I'm going to share with you a couple of things that works really well for me, and actually a couple of things that I did this morning before even coming on this podcast episode to hang out with you. I needed to check my energy first. Right. And that actually does help for me, having a space. My desk is now in our guest room, which is fine. We had to turn my office into the baby room. And I've actually found that this space has become like one of those quiet, safe spaces for me, where I can just close the door and I can be here and be at this desk and almost like turn on that version of Jess, that pre-baby version of Jess, to be in this moment and to just know that I get to be creative and I get to have fun. So I really think having a space is number one. And if you live in a small apartment, you're like, Jess, I don't have a space. I remember reading in the book Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, and he talked about when him and his wife lived in this like one bachelor, it wasn't even a one bedroom, it was like a bachelor apartment. And they would have a corner that they ate dinner in, a corner that they would work in, a corner that they would sleep in, and a corner that might be like their play, their peaceful corner. And they had these spaces because having spaces for certain things made a huge difference in being able to get into that mindset quickly. So if you had a space where you worked, you can get into the mindset of like, I work here, and do your work a lot quicker than if you were to do everything at the kitchen table. And I 100% relate to this, because when I read this book, I was living in Barbados with my husband in our 2-bedroom apartment, which sounds like lots of space. Honestly, it was a really big apartment. It was stunning. It was right on the water, but there was only one room that had air conditioning. And my American friends who are going to listen to this are going to be like, how hot is that? It was like 35 to 40 degrees every day, all year round. And that's in Celsius. So you're going to have to do the conversion. I have no idea. But it was hot all the time. You were literally sweating just standing. I used to wear a Garmin watch when I was there, and it would go off all the time that I was having like stressful heart rates just by like standing, because it was so hot. And so I did everything in our bedroom. I would work in bed. I would eat lunch in bed. I would do everything in this space. I worked out in this room. I just did everything in this room because it was the only place where you could get a little bit of relief. from the heat. And it got to the point where I had like one side of the bed for work and one side of the bed for sleep. And it just got so confusing that when we moved to our next apartment, when we lived down there and had like rooms and spaces, like I had a space for my office, a space for sleep, like it was so much better. But you can make this work still in a small space. Even if you only have one room that is comfortable this time of year, you can make it work, like in a tiny corner. I highly recommend even like a spot on your couch. Do you have a spot? I bet you do. When you listen to this, you're like, oh, I love my spot. And when the kids take my spot on the couch, I am so angry. If you can just sit in that for a few moments in that corner and just ignore the world around you, maybe have your hot cup of coffee. I remember talking to Jessie Harold, who was on this podcast too, and she said she would have a cup of tea on her back deck, and her kids knew that you do not interrupt mom when she's having her 10 minutes of her hot cup of tea on the deck. Like, give her that time. And I have a baby. You can't really tell him not to interrupt you. But maybe you need to find where that spot is and sit in it first thing, or especially sit in it when you're feeling this energy like I was feeling this morning of just like, oh, I have all these things I have to get done and no time to do it. How can you take a pause, to take a breath, and to sit in the energy that is going to set your whole day up for success? When you take a moment for you, it might feel like you have no time at all, right? You cannot. Don't even think about it, right? But it's actually going to change everything if you just take that space, 5-10 minutes, like not even a lot of time, and sit and have that peaceful moment and have that hot cup of coffee. It is going to shift your energy in a way that you cannot even explain. Like you're going to come out of that a whole different person. And it makes a really big difference. For me, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of breathing actually can shift whether I am a happy wife or a not so happy wife. And it makes a really big difference for me. Even just hiding in my bedroom and laying on my bed for a few minutes really can make a big difference. And right now in this season, like some days I'm like nap trapped for like 3 hours. And instead of getting frustrated in that season, I've just started to set myself up with like a book I want to read, or like romanticizing that nap trap a little bit more. Bring the hot cup of coffee, do what I need to do that's going to help to make that more enjoyable, instead of automatically assuming like, oh, like I'm stuck here, I have so many things to do, like this sucks so much. Like we can sit in that energy, right? You could sit in that energy for 3 hours and you're going to come out of that nap trap and you're going to be angry and you're going to be frustrated, and the rest of the day also is going to suck. Or for those 3 hours, you could sit and enjoy the moment a little bit more, right? You could read your book instead of scrolling. You could meditate a little bit if you want to. I've been doing Duolingo French lessons. You could do your French lessons. Like you can find a way to make that pleasant, because you don't really have any control over how long you're going to be there. And same thing if you're working, like you don't have control over how long you have to work. You're going to have to do it. So why not find a way to romanticize it and enjoy it a little bit more? It's going to shift your vibration. It's going to shift your energy, and you're going to come out happier. And you're going to show up as a better partner, as a better mom, as a better friend, as a better anything, because you've done something for you that you just haven't always made the time for. The other thing that really helps me in these seasons of overstimulation and overconsumption is to declutter my space. There is nothing better than a good purge. Until like 5 years from now, I'm like, where's that dress I wanted? And then you're like, oh, I donated that. That's the only time that I regret when I do my purchase. But other than that, I just sent a massive duffel bag of stuff, from baby stuff to, clothes that don't fit me anymore, clothes that just doesn't have the right vibe anymore, things, books, all the stuff. I just packed it all up and we just dropped it off at the Mission Mart, and I felt so much better getting out of the house, because items hold energy. And you might be listening to this, you're like, you are absolutely nutty, Jess, but they do. If there's something like a cracked lamp that you're just like, oh, I should fix that, or I should get rid of it, and you look at it every single day and you have that thought, and 6 months later has passed and you're still looking at that broken lamp, you're like, I should fix it or I should throw it out. Just throw it out, okay? Or fix it if that's what you want to do, but you got to do it today, okay? Because that energy holds in your house. It has, like, every time you see it, it's bringing that same feeling up. It's time to get rid of it. Same with maybe some books that are on your bookshelf that you're just like, I'm never going to read that again. Somebody else out there is looking for this item. They are wanting this item, and it's just sitting on your shelf and you do not want it. You're never going to touch it again. It's actually driving you crazy to have this much stuff in the house. So like, let's just purge and get it out, because there's someone else in this world who has been looking for this. And that might sound so funny, but I find it easier to think of it like that, knowing that there's someone on the other side who wants this item, and I'm actually hoarding it and holding it back from them having it. That's not fair, right? I don't need this anymore. It's time to release it and allow someone else to benefit from it. Same thing with clothes. That maybe there's like clothes that don't fit or clothes that don't feel like you anymore. I actually put on something that wasn't in my to give away pile. It fits, it's fine. But I put it on and I'm like, the version of me who used to wear this is not wearing this anymore. Like, this is just not me. And I need to put that in a pile to donate, right? Like, these things hold energy, and that energy isn't serving us anymore. It's not helping. So how can we release some of this out of our house, that our house can feel better and clearer and fun and that like safe space that we need? It's by decluttering and getting rid of things. Or even just organizing them. We just had a call in the sisterhood the other day on our goals, like our goals for the next 60 days. We do it every 60 days. We set up like some time to sit down to think about the last 60 days and where we want to go in the next 60 days. And I make note of everyone's goals because sometimes we forget. I forget often my goals. So it's nice to have a space where we can be reminded of what we want and how can we get to there. And for some people, they were like, I just really want to clear up some spaces, declutter some stuff. It's September. It's this new energy, back to school energy. Like, I want things to feel good and in place. That energetically, like feng shui wise, is huge, right? So decluttering and clearing spaces and making things just feel more peaceful and joyful for you is actually one of the best things you can do in order to raise that vibration, in order to just feel like a better version of you. Even before coming down here, I was like, okay, I don't have to tidy everything, but I do want to tidy some of the kitchen so that life is going to feel a little easier later. And my little guy had some peanut butter toast with his breakfast. And when he does that, it's just sticky everywhere. And so like, I was like, I do need to clean this because I don't love the smell of peanut butter. But anyways, it makes a big difference to even just do one section at a time. Do you have a junk drawer? A drawer that you just like put all of your garbage in? And you've been doing it for years, that if you were to go back in there, there's probably like ticket stubs from like 5 years ago. Go through that drawer, clean it up. You know, throw out what needs to be thrown out. We actually just took all of our change that we have had probably but even before we got married, like for years and years and years, we used to put all of our change in this jar. And Glenn, my husband, he actually said, he's like, that's probably my change from like when we went clubbing, like back in the day, and you'd get cash out and you'd have some change and you'd throw your change in a jar. We took all of our change from like our cars, from our, you know, the spot that we have in the house, and brought it to this coin machine, and you pour it in and it counts all your coins and then it gives you like a voucher. We had $50, probably over $50 worth of coins, because it takes like 12%, I think. I was like, you know what, Mr. Robot, you can take your 12%. This has just been sitting in my house for years. It had $50. We also took all of our bottles because we're just like, you know what? This is the week to do it. We are decluttering. We had like $30 worth of like recyclables to return. There's little things everywhere that could just help you to declutter and feel a lot better about the space that you're living in. And if you're thinking about one space right now in particular, you're like, this is the spot. I know it's here. Oh, that junk drawer, that, you know, TV island, whatever. Just go do it, right? Do it tonight. You can take 5 minutes. It's really not going to take you a lot of time, but it's going to feel so much better to have that space clear. And I also understand having kids. I only have one, right? So it's not as crazy. And I keep most of his stuff in his playpen. And like you cleaning a space and then it being dirty again in 30 minutes, I totally understand. But I think also knowing how good you're going to feel for those 30 minutes, it's worth it, right? And it's easier to keep it up once you've done it once. So just like clean the playroom, do what you need to do. And even if it's going to get dirty again, go to your joyful place, take a deep breath, and know that it's going to be okay. But it's going to make a big difference for you to feel better knowing you've cleaned and purged and gotten rid of what you need to get rid of. Okay. Your house is holding on to energy that it doesn't need to be holding on to. And I say house, but wherever you live, right? Wherever you are, your space is holding on to energy that it doesn't need to be holding on to. So it's time for you to release it. It's time for you to clear it out. And I think it makes a big difference. Think of it too as like pruning your plants. My sister-in-law was here on the weekend watching our dog while we were traveling, and she's like, I trimmed your plants for you. And it's like, they look so much better, right? Think of your house like you're pruning your plants, right? Do a corner at a time, do a little bit at a time, and you're watering yourself by taking that time to feel good about your space. We can control a lot of things when it comes to overconsumption. So yeah, sure, we have a lot of stuff in our house. That's our society. That's where we live. That's how we survive sometimes, right? We like our stuff. But how can we keep it organized in order for us to stop feeling so overwhelmed all the frickin' time, right? Clear it out. Go through your crawl space. Oh man. And now that I have a kid, holy moly, the stuff that we accumulate, and it's only been 7 months, just like car seats and clothes that we're keeping, and there's just like so much stuff. There's just so much stuff. You can organize it. You can take the time. We're going to vacuum seal all the baby clothes and put it away just in case we ever decide we want more. We at least have the stuff, but we do need to organize it and put it so it's tight, because we're running out of room over here, and you're probably running out of room too. So where can you create some space to just take a deep breath and to feel good? And the last thing I have on my list here that I really wanted to chat with you about was just giving yourself some grace. I know it's really hard. And we often, first place we go is, I'm a bad mom. I'm a bad friend. I know I'm a bad friend. I know I'm a bad dog mom. I've said that because my dog is like, maybe hadn't had a walk or something. Like, we say these things to ourselves, and I don't know why it comes out of my mouth too, right? Oh, well, I know I'm a bad, insert the thing that you said, but you're not. You're not a bad friend because you haven't replied to that text in 3 days, okay? You are not a bad mom because you fed your kid mac and cheese out of a box, okay? You are not a bad dog mom because your dog didn't get to go for a walk, okay? You're not a bad employee because you got distracted on your phone for 3 hours instead of getting your work done. You're not, okay? We are just in this cycle of really difficult energy, right? There's a lot going on around us in this world right now, and we got to give ourselves some grace. I'm making this episode because I know there's so many of us who are going through this. And this week in the Selfish Sisterhood, we are doing our workshop on like raising your vibration, because I know there's so many of us who are stuck in this low vibration of just like, oh, I have to do this. Everything sucks. The world is so heavy. I'm addicted to my phone, blah, 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 all these things, right? And I want to shake us out of it. It might not be the norm right now to be joyful and to be happy and to be in this energy. It's not the norm, right? We're all overstressed. We're all overstimulated. We're all, consuming things in the world that maybe we should hold back on a little bit more. We're all doing it. So why not be the weird person who's actually happy, right? Even if it's for 15 minutes, why not be the weird person who's raising the vibration of the world? I actually pulled a card right before I came on here, and I often do this because it just kind of helps to remind me, like, where is the direction? Where I have notes, but like, what needs to be said? And the card I got was the light in the unexpected, and it was talking about like being the light worker in a place that it's needed most, but also like this energy of like loss of control, and maybe not always doing what feels socially acceptable. And it's like, this is a challenging season, so like, why not find the love, find the light, find the meaning, and find the happiness? They're all hidden in your current situation. So allow them to flood into your life by actively searching for the meaning in this madness. And that's us right now. We're in the madness. Like this, we all can't deny we are in the madness. We are in a massive season of unknown. So do what you can control, right? Take your 30 minutes to do something, to shave your legs, to take a shower. Oh man, is there anything better than an everything shower, head to toe? Yes, it's a lot of work, but don't you feel like $1 million after? Do that. Do those things that make you feel like $1 million. Buy the coffee that's a little bit more expensive if it lights you up and fills you with joy every day, right? I understand money's tight right now. Things in the world are really difficult, but you can splurge a little bit on something for you. Instead of buying your kids that 12th snack that they've asked for, I want you to buy yourself one. Bring yourself a little bit of joy. Because when we think about it as the mom as the cup or the woman as the cup, right? The top. And we're filling it, and it overflows into everybody else, right? Have we seen those videos where the water's overflowing into everyone else? Women are those cups. You don't have to be a mom to know that, right? We know we're the caretakers. Then caretaking for friends, family, neighbors, all the things. We are the caretakers. We love in such a deep way, and we carry so much to care for others. We need to be filling our cups first, because there's just so much that we've been doing for the world, and we forget that we also need to do for us. Because sometimes that energy too, like if you're caring for everybody else and nobody cares for you, it starts to get bitter too, right? So make sure that you're filling your cup up. Even if it's one hot cup of coffee on the back deck every day, it's a walk by yourself, it's 15 minutes to come down here and to record a podcast episode and to hang out with my besties. Like, do what feels good for you. And I mean that from like the biggest soul level that I can do. It's simple, right? It's so simple, but it's so important because we are overstimulated and we are over consuming right now. And even as you listen to this podcast, right? You're consuming something. I hope that you can walk away from this knowing that you can take a break, right? You can listen to some silence. Even like I had to close the door in this office because I put the washing machine on and the sound of the washing machine was like overstimulating me. Because again, it's just so many things in our world that we have to do. Chores that have to get done, laundry that needs to get folded. So why not take a little peaceful moment, hang out with yourself. Ooh, and one more thing I had on my list here as I wrap this up was about silence. But I also understand now, having a little one, silence just doesn't always happen. That's one of my favorite things, because I only thought of this because the washing machine just stopped and the house is silent. You know, Glenn has taken the baby. He's gone. My dog's in here and she's just peacefully taking a nap and the house is silent. Oh, I miss those days when the house was silent all the time. But I also know that that's just not a reality. So if you're like me and maybe you can't control the level of sound in your home, I like to put my AirPods in or put a little like earbud in and play a sound bath, or even like some brown noise. We use sound machines in my son's room, in our room. Like, we love a good sound machine. So silence isn't always, the thing that can help, but it can help to take some of that edge off, to listen to something that's like a constant sound. So brown noise, white noise, waves. We love to do waves. We're a beach fam. But also sound baths and frequencies. It fuels my soul. It's what I need. If I'm finding things to be overstimulating or there to be too much sound, I can put my headphones in and listen to a sound bath, and it makes a really big difference for me too. So that was one more thing I wanted to mention in case it's sounds that are overstimulating for you, because I know it can be. I know a lot of people get their earbuds too, the loop, what's the word I'm thinking of? Loop earplugs. So it takes away some of the noise without being totally silent. So then you can still hear what's going on. You can still hear the kids. You can still hear, if you're in the office and like someone says your name, like you can still hear that, but it takes some of the edge off. I can only imagine being in an office for 40 hours a week. The sound, the overstimulation of sound would be just too much for me. And maybe I'm weird, but somebody else who's listening to this, let me know if sound can be overstimulating for you. Just having an earplug or an earbud with something that can take the edge off and help you to focus really makes a big difference too. So find those things for you that you need that are going to help in this world that we live in, that is just like flashy lights all the time. What's going to help you to stay focused on what you need and on who you are as a soul? Like, who are you and where do you want to be? Okay, once you figure that out, we got to get rid of some of these distractions. Get rid of the clutter. Give yourself some space to breathe every single day. raise your vibration to just like one little level higher every single day, and you are going to be unrecognizable in a year. Like we can go in small increments every single day, and it is going to be have such a huge impact on who you are. So I love you so much, my friends. I am just so grateful to be able to sit down with you. I feel so much better. Like I just having this chat with you and hanging out, like, I feel even emotional as I think about it. It means a lot that I have you in my corner. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. Please send me a message so that I know I'm not just talking to a wall. And maybe I am just talking to a wall, but I know in my soul that there is someone on the other side. And it just means a lot when I see that you're listening to it, or when I get a message from you and you say you connected with it. It makes a really, really big difference. And when I see your reviews, if you love this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you gave me a review. It helps to push the podcast out to new people so that they can see that you're connecting with it, and maybe they might connect with it too. So please give me a review wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's on Apple, on Spotify. It really, really makes a big difference. And I'm just so grateful for you. Like I truly am. We've been on this journey for almost 4 years, and I saw some people who've been starting back at the beginning, and that almost made my stomach turn a little bit, because I thought I am a very different person than I was episode 1, but I bet you are too. And I'm so grateful that we get to go through this journey together. So I love you so much, and I will talk to you soon.
What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.